So I'll say this, bro. I was a big Cody Ko fan about 2 or 3 months ago.
Despite its existence being relatively short-lived, the impact that Vine had on the internet cannot be overstated.
For real, bro. Vine was only around for like 4 or 5 years, and it completely shook up the internet.
Without it, we wouldn't have epic hood classics like
My name is Jeff.
and
Only a spoonful.
Vine was the jumping off
King
point for a
Badge.
handful of prominent and despised creators,
Cody
such as
Ko.
Liza Koshy, David Dobrik, and the Paul brothers. However, one of
They
the
all
most revered
started on
people to
Vine,
come
that's
from the Vine
crazy.
era was Cody Ko. What started as 6-second skits filmed in his bedroom turned into a successful career as a content creator, comedian, podcaster, and even
Vines.
rapper. He even launched his own subscription site for a network of fellow creators to make more income. People generally saw Cody as one of the most likable people on the entire internet. That is, until allegations of misconduct with a 17-year-old Tana Mojo were made public. Now, he's disappeared from the
I
public
remember
eye,
that,
not saying a
Angelic.
word about the controversy for months on end, leaving many wondering if he'll ever return. Born on November 22nd, 1990,
That's
Cody Ko was
crazy
raised in the city
hair.
of Calgary in Alberta, Canada, before eventually
But
moving to North
here's the crazy thing. He was also involved with multiple other minors. Tana Mojo's just the most famous one.
Carolina, when he was recruited to the swim team at Duke University. During his time in college, he joined a fraternity and DJ'd at parties on campus for easy cash. While he enjoyed his experience in his frat, he still regretted certain aspects of it, such as the time he trashed a vacation home he and members of his frat rented for a party. He also recalled becoming a different person when he went to college, saying that his friends and family back home barely recognized him. Despite this supposed
Bro joined a frat. He's like, it changed me, bro. I hardly recognize myself. Frat life, bro. Oh yeah, frat life. If you not been in a frat, you don't get it. That shit changes you, bro. Yeah, a bunch of rich white boys hanging out. Lit. Shit's different.
supposed shift in personality, he managed to flourish in his academic endeavors. In 2012, Cody graduated with a bachelor's degree in computer science,
Damn.
something he made quick use of.
Bro graduated from a bachelor's in 2012. I was like 13, 12 years old. What the fuck? How old is this fucker?
He began development on a free iOS app called I'd Cap That. The app basically added random comedic captions to any picture you uploaded. A simple yet effective concept at the time. It amassed over 4 million downloads and was the free iOS app of the week in May. But Cody wasn't interested in being a tech guru or becoming a CEO. Rather, he hoped this newfound success could get his foot in the door at a larger company.
I really just want to learn from people who are in the industry right now and people who are successful.
That opportunity eventually came when I'd Cap That was acquired by a Silicon Valley startup called iDiction. He purchased a one-way ticket to San Francisco and began working on the app he created as an employee. It was during this time that the 6-second video sharing platform Vine went public for the world to experience. Cody began uploading his own Vines in 2013, mostly reflecting the humor that was popular at the time.
This just in, folks. I'm getting reports that Devin is gay. More at 11. I'm not gay.
He slowly began to grow a following thanks to his comedic skits and managed to secure a partnership with Full Screen Media, a multi-channel network that was home to other clients like the Fine Bros and Rooster Teeth. And with that, he quit his job at iDiction to pursue content creation full-time. This coincided with an 8-month trip through Southeast Asia with his friend and the future founder of Cameo, Devin Townsend. It was during this time that Cody's early success turned into pure virality, when he birthed the 6-second auditions trend.
Hi, my name is Cody, and today I'll be auditioning for the part of Mary Poppins. Let's go. Yeah, what's good, huh?
This trend was even picked up by larger content creators at the time, such as Curtis Connor, which only aided in his personal growth. And by July of 2014, he had earned himself over 300,000 followers on Vine. By the beginning of 2015, they returned from their trip and moved to Los Angeles, where they began seeking work as software engineers. He managed to get himself a job as an iOS engineer for Victorious, which created and managed media apps for brands and influencers. And in the background, Cody continued posting to social media, and even managed to get his first big break in the entertainment industry, collaborating with Hannibal Buress to promote his show, Why with Hannibal Buress. After 8 months in December of 2015, Cody left his job at Victorious to begin working at Fullscreen, where he wrote code for their monthly subscription streaming service. Working in a more content-oriented environment offered him more wiggle room to leave midday and pursue his own personal endeavors. Funnily enough, it was on his first day at the company that he realized the person he shared a cubicle with was a fellow Viner named Noel Miller, who worked for the company as a web designer. Having previously talked online, the two quickly struck up a friendship and even a content partnership, where they would create Vines together on their lunch breaks. Cody quit his job entirely in July of 2016, as he was making more than enough money from sponsorships to make content full-time. He continued posting to Vine until it was announced in October that the platform was shutting down. The end of Vine forced its creators to quit altogether or find new platforms to upload their stuff. Many moved to Instagram, as it had a relatively similar format and allowed videos up to 15 seconds. Cody, on the other hand,
Vine
began
was so
focusing all of his
popular.
attention on YouTube, a decision that would pay off greatly. He had already been sporadically uploading to his YouTube channel since 2014, with his content mainly consisting of short vlogs and Q&As. But when Vine died, he took an entirely new approach. While sketches and short comedic content did work on Vine, on YouTube, audiences had largely moved on from that trend, with Smosh and similar channels seeing declining viewership. What was performing well was commentary videos.
This is what I like watching the most.
Yes, same exact thing. I would like H3. I would watch all the time. It's like, oh well, I'll just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like nobody really even watches
into
like
working
comedy
out.
sketches
I
on
don't
YouTube
think creatine
anymore.
personally.
That's not really even a thing.
Ethan and Ela Klein had
that
built an
makes
entire
sense.
career for making fun of bad content, inserting their own humor and short skit
Routine
segments into the
creators,
videos to
that's
make it their own.
crazy.
Cody saw a clear trend and decided to ride this wave. The earliest example of this was a video titled "This Guy,"
creatine
where he
can be
criticized and
useful.
poked fun at an Instagram user who was copying his content.
All right, let's pick another one. Let's see. Creepy waiter.
I sure hope it does.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna do the chicken sandwich. And don't y'all have that like, special
Are you guys
sauce?
do like a special sauce here?
Yeah, that's what you do. Yeah, I'm not
I'm
gonna
gonna
do
not
that.
get that.
This guy.
This Guy ended up being a short 3-part series where Cody
That's
reacted to people he
crazy.
found detestable, with the last episode featuring his good friend, Noel Miller. Noel and Cody had an undeniable chemistry, easily playing off of each other's personalities. And the videos also never felt too serious. It was more like sitting down with a few of your friends and making fun of a bad movie. This content far surpassed anything Cody had previously posted in terms of views, so he continued to upload videos with Noel,
Damn.
eventually
Yeah, dude, I used to
culminating in their
watch all
series
the
That's
videos of them
Cringe.
together.
I want a girl to be like,
That's
wait,
cringe.
you're
Dude,
how
I
are
used
you
to watch
still
those
single?
all the time.
Why are you wearing a fucking shirt that says Virginity Rocks on it?
I hate to break it to this guy. Literally, no one is ever gonna say that.
This series was easily Cody's most popular, with the top 5 most viewed videos on his channel being installments of the That's Cringe series. Their banter was so
Wow.
good, in fact, that they managed to convert some of their audience to other ventures, like the Tiny Meat Gang podcast. Episode 1 received nearly 800,000 views, which is massive for the launch of any show, let alone
Yeah,
an
that's
hour-long
great.
unedited podcast. They also began releasing music under the same name, with a full EP titled Bangers and Ass releasing in early 2018. Cody and Noel were a dynamic duo like no other, making some of the most popular commentary content on all of YouTube. It seems like an inevitability that every time they uploaded, they were going to amass millions
the
of views.
best,
With
I
all of this
know,
overwhelming
right?
success, Cody eventually reached the 1 million subscriber milestone in May of 2018. Shortly after, TMG announced a nationwide tour where they got to meet fans and perform on stage.
That's
the
gonna
Tiny
be
Meat Gang
us in
podcast was so
2025,
revered,
chat.
they even managed to win Best Podcast at the 2019 Shorty Awards.
We started this podcast after I got laid off from my job a year and a half ago. So, fellow podcasters, unemployed with a bad opinion is a skill. Keep that in mind.
While Cody had managed to build a
Damn.
reputation of respect and admiration, the same cannot be said for Jake Paul, who, much like Cody, moved from Vine onto YouTube after the platform's collapse. Jake had found himself consistently mired in controversy ever since he began uploading. His supposedly family-friendly content for kids
Bro,
was anything
people
but,
just
filled heavily with
always
merch
hate
plugs,
Jake.
scams, dangerous stunts, and a plethora of innuendos not suitable for children. It seemed like every week Jake Paul was getting himself caught up in some form of controversy. And of course,
I remember
commentary
those
channels sunk their
days when
teeth
people
into every
cared
bit of
so
drama they could
much about
find.
Jake
Cody was
Paul.
no exception, uploading a
The
handful
Jake
of videos
Paul.
critiquing and poking
Here we
fun at Jake.
come.
It's not funny. It's not funny. It's just not funny.
Liza Koshy,
I know what you like, Savage. I know what you like, bro.
Man. Oh. Oh, the cringe is too real.
Dude, I know what you like!
It seems that Cody's uploads in particular
Y'all can
struck a nerve,
shame me.
likely due to the millions of views he accumulated for making fun of Jake Paul. This prompted Jake himself to upload a video titled Confronting Internet Bully Cody
Dude, I
Ko.
remember
I'm
this
about to
beef.
confront like one of my biggest haters, 28-year-old wannabe comedian Cody Ko. I'm not YouTube's hero. I'm not here to like save the day and like, you know, do like all this stuff. But this guy, Cody Ko, is a bully. He's a cyber bully, and I fucking hate cyber bullies. Like, I hate it. It's the worst thing in the world.
In it, Jake attempts to
Damn.
take a stand against Cody for what he describes as cyberbullying. It's very clear when watching the video that Jake
That's
isn't really
crazy.
concerned with the societal ramifications of cyberbullying like he claims. Rather, Cody had hurt his ego, with a video criticizing him receiving over 27
time.
million
Jake
views.
Paul?
This is further supported with very innocuous examples of Cody's quote-unquote cyberbullying,
It's
like making
insane.
fun of Logan Paul for
It's
dressing up
every
like a
day,
minion,
bro.
or the infamous cum powder clip.
Oh, dude, you're drinking cum powder? Oh! Ew!
Jake also makes a number of other ad hominem attacks, such as calling him a little back-end developer working at Fullscreen. This is a hilariously dense statement, considering Cody graduated from Duke with a degree to get that job. Meanwhile, Jake Paul made his fortune by hitting the Quan for children. Regardless of his true intentions, he was dead set on making a fool out of Cody. Jake's plan was simple. While Cody was doing an interview with Jeff Wittick, he would ambush the operation and call him out face to face. Jake likely hoped that this confrontation would make Cody look bad, but it had the opposite effect entirely. When finally confronting him, Jake was not nearly as intimidating as he thought he was. Cody was pretty inviting, offering to shake his hand with a smile on his face, only for Jake to reject that kindness and press him on his supposed cyberbullying. The entire situation really made Jake look immature and insecure, while Cody appeared much more stoic and composed. Jake ended the video with a call to action, essentially requesting that his audience cancel Cody to teach him a lesson. Unfortunately for Jake Paul, his video only had the opposite effect, with Cody gaining 200,000 subscribers only 4 days after Jake's upload. A notable point that Jake made in his video was that Cody apparently bullied a few girls that were very emotionally distraught by his content. Not only does Jake not have proof of this, there's evidence that proves the exact opposite. In a video titled ASMR Has Gone Too Far, Cody pokes fun at a creator named Eve Donnelly for eating a raw onion.
Look at that, that's the face of someone who has never felt pain before. I don't even think she has tear ducts.
Eve took it upon herself to respond to Jake's stand against Cody, sarcastically pretending to be emotionally hurt by Cody's video.
I am just one of many young girls on the internet who have been victimized personally.
That wasn't even my favorite internet
Despite
drama,
this, Eve makes it perfectly clear in the description that it's simply a joke and implies that Jake was overreacting. In a video posted shortly after by Cody, he reflected on the situation, calling it awkward and uncomfortable. Regardless of Jake's malicious intentions, Cody managed to brush it off, made a few jokes, and simply moved on.
You can come for me as much as you want, but don't come from my software engineers. That's where I draw the line.
This story would be picked up by a handful of commentary YouTubers as well as multiple media outlets, only further pushing Cody's sub count, eventually surpassing 3 million subscribers by the end of May. But thankfully, not everybody Cody made videos on took it nearly as personally. In October of 2019, Cody uploaded a That's Cringe episode featuring Darman. Darman had become infamous in the YouTube community for his wholesome and life-changing stories. The subject matter of these stories usually involved a selfish or arrogant antagonist learning a hard lesson, and the good-natured protagonist triumphing in their endeavors. But due to its subpar acting and writing, it became a massive target for commentary channels to poke fun at.
He cares more about spending time with me. And to me, that's worth more than any credit card can buy.
She's like, yeah, that's what a poor person would say.
However, Cody and Noel's reaction to Darman had a surprising twist. Rather than confronting Cody for bullying like Jake Paul did, Darman sent him a private message, showing his support and offering to collaborate on a project. Cody agreed, and produced an episode titled Chef Threatens to Fire New Cook, in which he makes a brief cameo.
Behind. Oh, are you serious? Watch where you're going. Now I'm going to cook this all over again.
I'm so sorry, man.
Cody followed this up with a video titled The Darman Experience, where he documented the process of creating the episode. It was during this time that he began to understand Darman's content and learn to appreciate what he did. Darman was even kind enough to surprise him with balloons and gifts celebrating his recent 5 million subscriber milestone. Cody walked away from the experience with an entirely new perspective, actually appreciating Darman and his team's humility, as well as feeling like he found a new friend in the process.
We gotta end my video like we ended yours.
All right, let's do this. So, thanks for watching, and please remember, we're not just telling stories,
we're changing lives.
This entire situation only further proved that Jake Paul's notion of Cody being a bully was completely false. If anything, Cody demonstrated he was willing to talk to anyone he criticized and learn to understand them. He could have very easily continued to pump out content ridiculing Darman's videos, but instead he chose a much more positive direction. Notably, both of his run-ins with Jake Paul and Darman always ended with him on top, which ultimately solidified his already strong reputation even more. Cody's YouTube empire only continued to grow as the years went on, and it was for far more than just his YouTube videos. His efforts with Tiny Meat Gang grew to such a level that the operation expanded, founding TMG Studios in October of 2021. With this new studio, they signed a handful of other creators to produce podcasts on their network. TMG continued to thrive over the coming years, pulling in hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube and generating tons of revenue from their subscription service. They were even successful enough to get huge names like Post Malone and Mr. Beast to make guest appearances on the podcast. It's hard to deny that Cody and Noel were seeing a level of success very few creators could even dream of. In December of 2021, 2021, Cody proposed to his girlfriend Kelsey, and the two later got married in February of 2023. This followed the birth of their son Otis. Cody had carved out the perfect life for himself, living in a $7.7 million home in Malibu, California with his new family. He was respected by his peers and admired by millions across the internet. Cody had cultivated a lighthearted and humble image, not afraid to poke fun at others or himself, and was viewed overall as a positive, funny, charismatic, and good-hearted person. But of course, I wouldn't be talking about any of this if the story ended here. In summer of 2024, a clip was uploaded to TikTok featuring Tana Mongeau in a live recording of her podcast, Cancelled. In this clip, she's asked who had the smallest dick of anyone she ever slept with.
Who's the smallest dick you ever had sex with? Oh my god, do no one look at me, Cody Ko.
Without much thought, this clip might not be seen as too consequential, aside from the damning allegations that Cody does have a chode, and therefore is a part of the Tiny Meat Gang. That is, until you consider she claims she was
Tiny Meat Gang wasn't a joke.
17 when they hooked up, meaning Cody was about 25 years old at the time. This wasn't even the first time Tana had claimed to have had sex with Cody when she was under the age of consent. She made a similar implication 3 years earlier during an episode of the Cancelled podcast filmed in 2021.
I know now, I was 17 at the time, 18, and so I started kind of hooking up with other people. Shout out cynicalul, shout out Cody Ko.
These allegations did not receive much attention at the time, and anyone who did pay attention to them was not convinced by Tana's claims. It's no secret that Tana Mongeau doesn't have the best reputation, as she was involved in a handful of controversies that soured her public image. In 2017, she was featured in iDubbbz' Content Cop series, where she was exposed for using the N-word, despite previously criticizing iDubbbz for doing the same.
You know you was
Much like the rest of iDubbbz' victims, Tana's Content Cop episode drastically shifted her public image and inspired disdain amongst a lot of people who didn't already know about her. In 2018, after being banned from attending VidCon, she decided to create her own convention, TanaCon, where fans could have the opportunity to meet her. TanaCon was, for all intents and purposes, a complete failure. Due to poor planning on Tana's behalf, attendees were forced to stand in line for hours, getting third-degree sunburns and passing out from dehydration. This was likely due to the fact that the venue could only hold 1,500 people, yet over 5,000 tickets were sold. On top of these two major blunders, Tana is well known for her over-the-top storytime videos. All of these stories were greatly exaggerated, if not completely fake, which led many to doubt the authenticity of anything she said.
That he f***ed me with a toothbrush. He f***ed me with a toothbrush.
All of these factors, paired with the seemingly infallible reputation of Cody Ko, led many to dismiss the allegations altogether. However, this second time around, people took it a bit more seriously, which prompted Tana to further expand on the situation in future podcast appearances. On June 21st, a new episode of the Cancelled podcast was uploaded, in which Tana, for the first time, elaborated on the details of her and Cody's entanglement.
But it's everywhere all over the internet, and I know people want me to talk about it, and I'm gonna do my best right now, you know? To be 100% truthful, when I look back at the Cody situation, I definitely am like, why was he doing that? You know what I mean? And there were so many situations. There was a situation with Gabby Hanna at a Playlist Live where she pulled him aside and told him like, yo, she's 17. And then we still went and hooked up. And I can look at that and be like,
crazy. Bro, he was even told, like, right before he did it, like, she's 17, you shouldn't hook up with her. And then he goes and does it right after anyways.
Like, what the were you doing that?
This fact seems to be corroborated by Gabby Hanna herself, who told the story with Tana and Cody's names left out.
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he's like, oh my god, thank you for telling me. And then he
According to Tana, this instance happened at Playlist Live in 2016, which took place in Orlando, Florida. While some states have an age of consent of 16 or 17, Florida's age of consent is strictly 18 years old. This means if the allegations were true, Cody committed a federal crime. People began digging and found an old video uploaded to Tana's channel featuring Cody. He frequently makes reference to her being a teen in the video, and at one point checks her out while she walks out of frame.
Alright, so what's up, guys? It's Tana Mongeau. She knows a whole bunch of slang and cool words because she's, you know, a teen, whatever. So I'm here basically just to learn some teen slang, right? So do you want to
This video, titled The Shittiest Video Ever featuring Cody, was uploaded on the 13th of May 2016, just 3 weeks after the supposed incident at Playlist Live. This means they had already hooked up at least once when the video was filmed, and Cody seemingly had no issues with her being a teenager. Most notable out of all of this was that Tana didn't attempt to make a huge spectacle of the situation, claiming that despite what Cody did was wrong, that she wasn't traumatized by any means.
But there isn't a part of me, at least at 25 now. I mean, I look back and I would never do anything like that. So I'm like, what the f is wrong with you?
Yeah.
But I don't associate or hold it with trauma because I am such a comparative person where I'm like, so many worse things have happened to me.
Tana also didn't attempt to capitalize on the drama in any way with clickbait or any real official statement on the situation.
Like some shit will go down and someone's like, how are you okay? How are you not frustrated? How are you not upset? I was like, bro, this is literally just a drop in the ocean of bullshit I've been through. This is just a sprinkle, bro. Like this thing got shit on some of the other shit that's been cooking in my mind for a while.
All of these factors craft a relatively reliable narrative on Tana's behalf. This is a situation she's never directly tried to hide. Others corroborated her story, and it didn't seem like she was attempting to cancel or vitriolically destroy Cody's career. To many, it looked like she was impartially telling a story she claimed happened as neutrally as possible. But the allegations of misconduct did not end there. One Reddit user recalled Cody supposedly hanging out with and dating a 17-year-old girl back in the day. I religiously watched Cody since Vine and have a vivid memory of him dating a high schooler. Him and his frat friend group would hang out with a bunch of teen girls, and they'd sometimes appear in his videos. There was one girl he'd be with a lot on his Vines, which
I remember when he first started on Vine, he probably had less than 10,000 followers, showing my age, chat. And I remember he'd always post Vines like random fangirls, but most of the time, the random fangirls looked like they were like in high school.
Speculated he was dating at the time.
I was like
I remember
14,
looking into
13,
it and was surprised to see that she was like 17 since he was in his mid-20s. He still follows the high schoolers on Instagram, and they're in his old YouTube vlogs. Attached to the thread was a video uploaded to Cody's Vine sometime in 2015 that showed him kissing this supposedly underage girl.
Oh, it didn't work.
Kinda.
Damn it! But you may be asking why people thought this girl was under the age of consent. Well, according to a post made by the girl's friend on Instagram, she turned 19 on May 24th, 2016, which means she was born May 24th, 1997. Judging by the timestamp of this photo, where she sits on Cody's shoulders, she would have been only 17 years old. If this is true, it showed that Cody hooking up with Tana was more than just a one-time thing. Rather, Cody didn't have a lot of moral hang-ups with engaging sexually with minors whatsoever. Naturally, this begged the question of how many other girls were involved. On top of this, multiple clips resurfaced of Cody speaking out against relationships between adult men and underage girls. In episode 75 of the Tiny Meat Gang podcast, the two hosts discussed the documentary Surviving R. Kelly.
I wonder if in 10 years the Drake Diddler documentary comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That shit with Millie Bobby Brown.
That and the other girl, that model that he was commenting on her pictures when she was 16.
Yeah.
Everybody's a diddler, man. What the fuck? Man, that shit made me want to vomit.
Which?
R. Kelly being 31 and like charming up 17-year-old girls? That's weird as fuck.
Another clip from episode 122 shows the duo talking about Jerry Seinfeld's underage girlfriend.
I don't even know.
Jerry Seinfeld?
Oh, yeah.
That shit?
Yeah, you got to straight up.
He publicly dated
a teenager
for like a while.
Took her to a baseball
16,
game.
16, what? Something like that?
Yeah, 17.
That was crazy.
He was like
publicly. And he was like 50 or something like that.
It was like his 40s, late 30s or something.
Okay, yeah.
Feeding her hot dogs.
Yeah.
He was like 85. She was like 9 years old. It's actually 17 and 35. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
According to Cody himself, a grown man having sex with a 17-year-old
He's like,
girl
yeah, that's
is weird,
fucked.
which further made people question why he would be willing to do anything with Tana if he knew it was wrong. Another extremely important detail some felt necessary to point out was Cody's association with Colby Leachman, a longtime friend he met in college. This story initially gained traction on the Cody Ko subreddit, where a user said, "Hey y'all, I tried posting before, but I think it got taken down for drama. I'd like this post to be left up so we can all discuss the accusations. I love Cody Ko and have been watching him as long as I can remember, every video. However, now that there's news and some controversy, I'd love to hear other Cody's fans' opinions on this. And to the mods, stop taking down posts about this and saying it's drama." And the responses, one user said, "I want him to address why he continues to be friends with someone who assaulted a woman. The evidence that it happened, even without a conviction, is strong. He videotaped himself doing it. Why would you ever want a man like that around your spouse or your family?" A second user repeated this sentiment, saying, "Colby Leachman actually assaulted at least 2 women, according to the judge presiding over the lawsuit against Duke University." Watch the mods remove this this
is
fact
new
that
to
you
me.
can find on public news websites and court records databases for drama. The instance these users are referring to comes from a 2016 lawsuit involving Colby Leachman. On March 6, 2011, a female university student named Ariana Kwayumi was allegedly drugged and taken advantage of by Colby. After assaulting the woman at his stepfather's house, he apparently moved her to his dorm room, where he invited his friend Brian Self to also take advantage of her while she was heavily sedated. Colby recorded Brian's actions on a smartphone and showed the video to a few people in his frat. The next day, Ariana apparently woke up with bruises and indications
What
of sex,
the
but had no recollection of
fuck?
what had transpired. She visited
Always
the
a
school's
frat
medical
boy.
center, but left before she saw anyone. She did, however, leave anonymous notes to her resident advisors that someone had assaulted her. However, she omitted both her and the perpetrator's names from the messages. It's likely that the young woman had no intentions of going forward for the time being, until the school's campus police had received reports of 2 instances of misconduct. During their investigations, where they interviewed a handful of students, they identified Colby Leachman and Brian Self as the potential perpetrators. While being interviewed, both of the young men claimed the activity was consensual. When asked about the young woman mentioned prior, Leachman lied to the police and claimed the sex act was not videotaped, only to later admit to it after his phone was searched and the video was found. However, he lied once again,
What
claiming the
the
young woman was a
fuck?
previous girlfriend of his. In the video, she can clearly be heard requesting that it not be videotaped. However, she doesn't directly object to the sex itself. When interviewed by the police, the woman claimed she had no recollection of any activity the night prior, nor did she consent to it. She requested police continue to investigate and follow up with her once her finals were over. In June of that year, the Associate Dean of Students, Stephen Bryan, began investigating the
Holy
situation.
shit.
He considered disciplinary action on the basis of alcohol use, disorderly conduct, and unauthorized photography. However, he didn't reference anything relating to sexual misconduct. Duke admins reached out to the woman, requesting her cooperation to move forward with disciplinary actions
for
for
that
sexual
girl. No, for
misconduct.
real.
However, she informed the school she didn't want to be involved in the case and didn't want to speak about the incident. So, in November of 2011, a formal warning and reprimand was issued to Colby for 2 aspects of the Duke alcohol policy. The school dropped the sexual misconduct investigation due to an apparent lack of cooperation on the supposed victim's behalf. The woman took a leave of absence in the spring of
Which is
2012,
so
at which point she
confusing.
decided she wanted to file an official police report and was ready to testify in court. However, she did not follow up on the additional steps when she returned in the fall of 2012. That being said, she did eventually submit a written statement accusing Colby Leachman and Brian Self of non-consensual sexual activity in March of 2013. No contact orders were put in place against the 2
So
men, and
confusing.
investigations began.
It's
When the case
insane.
was presented to the police, the county's district attorney declined prosecution, and the police never charged either men for their crimes. Duke hired a clinical psychologist named Celia Irvine to investigate the allegations and prepare a detailed report of her findings. Her report was ultimately insufficient, with the court noting a lack of evidence that the victim was impaired during the event and inconsistent details of the events that transpired. Colby was placed on probation for his remaining time at Duke due to violating Duke's unauthorized surveillance and photography policy, but he was never formally charged by the cops for his alleged assault. This is what sparked the lawsuit against Duke University, with this woman believing her trial and investigation was mishandled by the school due to negligence. It's also worth mentioning that Colby's parents were both employed at the school, with his stepfather being the school's provost.
Shit!
While there's no evidence the scandal was swept under the rug due to this factor, the idea most certainly isn't off the table. The judge's final verdict
That's
on the
so
lawsuit states,
fucked.
while reasonable people might think that more serious consequences would have been appropriate for the 2 students who took part in the non-consensual videotaping of a sex act with another student, and thereafter showed the video to other people who lied to the police about the video, and who even under their version of the facts behaved horribly to Miss Kwayumi and at least one other woman, this court does not criticize Duke's disciplinary decisions. And while one can second guess certain aspects of Duke's failures to act in 2011, the court does not evaluate Duke's conduct with the benefit of
What a
hindsight or in a
coincidence, for
vacuum.
real.
Essentially, despite no wrongdoing being found on Duke's behalf, it is undisputed that some form of misconduct did in fact take place with Colby Leachman, despite no convictions or arrests being made. There seems to be no argument from any
Yo,
reputable source
Connor,
that the
you can
sexual
hit up
assault
Pete
didn't
Moore
occur.
and see
So
what
people
movie he
found it
wants
very
for the
strange when Cody was openly associating and still friends with Colby despite these troubling behaviors. Colby can be seen in the background of Cody's vlogs as early as 2016.
See Colby, I'm just saying, that's what they call me.
Call you backseat Colby. No one calls you that. No one's ever called you that. Again, main bitch, Colby in the back.
More recently, Colby was seen at Cody's wedding ceremony, meaning that after all of these years, the 2 remained close. While Colby's actions don't inherently reflect Cody, it is very troubling that Cody openly hangs out with someone who likely drugged and potentially assaulted a young woman at the same college he attended. It's almost certain he had some knowledge of the situation given he went to Duke, and he didn't seem to have a problem with rubbing shoulders with him over 12 years after the incident. Despite the shocking details of this
wedding.
situation, the story didn't receive much coverage aside from
really
the H3
didn't.
podcast and a few posts on Reddit and Twitter. Twitter. Smaller commentary channels did cover the story, but larger figures and close associates like Drew Gooden or Danny Gonzalez hadn't spoken out about the situation. That was until commentary YouTuber D'Angelo Wallace uploaded his video, An Uncomfortable Conversation about Cody Ko.
Let's have an uncomfortable conversation. Someone has been alleging for years now that you, one of the largest commentary creators on YouTube, knowingly committed a crime against her when she was a minor. But YouTubers and viewers alike are ignoring and discrediting these allegations solely because the person making them happens to be an unlikable woman online, Tana Mojo.
D'Angelo's video sought to shine a spotlight on the situation, while simultaneously calling out those who swept it under the rug, including Cody himself.
But the reason it hasn't caught on yet, despite all of this, is that none of your friends, nobody on your level, nobody in the commentary niche with enough pull is willing to admit that this situation makes you look terrible.
D'Angelo spends a good chunk of his video critiquing the public narrative that Tana's story is untrustworthy, and reaffirms that while he can't personally provide proof that she's telling the truth, her story is just as valid as any others. He then calls Cody's persistent silence into question.
I know for a fact if you swapped out Cody Ko with someone that like people didn't like that much, I would be receiving so much more sympathy.
I find your silence on the situation to be uncomfortable because I know that if Tana's allegations are true, then silence would be your only option. I'm not accusing you of committing a crime.
But Cody's refusal to speak out was more than just silence. As D'Angelo puts it, it was censorship. His YouTube comments appear to be heavily moderated, likely auto-banning any mentions of Tana or their encounter. This is pretty strange, considering his Instagram comments had a much different tone, with all of them referencing the allegations. Even more bizarre were the countless comments on his wife's YouTube channel that all referenced the allegations. Why would people be talking about this literally everywhere other than his own channel, unless he had manually placed restrictions on his comment section? This also coincides with the heavy moderation and eventual privating of Cody's own subreddit.
And your silence isn't the only one that's bothering me either.
All these Reddit threads, like if my name's on any thread, it's all getting deleted.
I witnessed the heavy-handed moderation of your subreddit in real time as I researched this video. I would refresh the page and posts would suddenly be unapproved by moderators after racking up hundreds of comments, removed because they could, quote, instigate drama, or more commonly, just locked and or removed with no reason given whatsoever.
D'Angelo's video was not insignificant by any means. In fact, it was the catalyst of Cody's fall from grace. The notoriety this video received coincided with numerous other content creators finally speaking out about the situation. Fellow commentary YouTuber Jarvis Johnson released a statement in response to D'Angelo's latest video. These Cody Ko allegations are serious, and the actions described are disgusting. He needs to respond immediately. It's absolutely necessary for us to listen to victims, period. Platform or not, and regardless of personal feelings towards them, we must treat claims like this seriously. Also, to respond to a number of DMs I received, despite occupying similar genres online, I don't know Cody as a person outside of his content, and we have never and will never work together. Jarvis also spoke more in depth about the situation on his Sad Boys podcast, where the two hosts voiced their support for Tana and demanded that Cody speak up.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, I have no doubt, no reason to doubt. Pressure on Cody to make a statement, even if he wants to challenge it, say something, because the cowardly approach is the one that benefits him the most and benefits the worst reactionaries.
Brittany Broski, someone who had collaborated with Cody in the past, also took to her Instagram to post the following statement. I am crushed to learn about the Cody allegations. If it's proven to be true, then that's extremely upsetting as a collaborator and longtime fan. I find all of this disturbing, inappropriate, and just flat out disappointing. Some felt as though this statement in particular wasn't enough.
He made one statement through the podcast Tiny Meat Gang. It wasn't even from him. And it said, all it said was, Cody will be taking a extended leave from all production having to do Tiny Meat Gang music and podcasts. And it wasn't from him, but it was from the production team. I'm sure they'll show it here in a minute.
Simply referring to them as allegations and not directly calling Cody out. Gabby Bell, a commentary YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers, called Cody out directly on
I remember, so as this was happening, he was doing a DJ set at this sorority in a college, I think like in Florida or something, and someone took a video and they said he literally, first of all, doesn't play remixes. Deadass just plays full ass songs. But he was playing Justin Bieber, "It's not too late to say sorry," and people in the crowd were clowning him for it.
Instagram story. Commentary of all genres should not be a boys' club. I'm not gonna sit my ass here and pretend like Cody didn't take advantage of a 17-year-old girl when he was 25 and then ignore and silence it. Cody, say something. Another popular YouTuber, Chad, responded to a claim that Tana was simply clout chasing drama that was 9 years old, saying, 9 years is a long time to y'all until it's the age gap between Tana and Cody Ko. Even the most popular commentary channel on the internet, Moist Critical, covered it on his channel shortly after D'Angelo's video.
Cody Ko absolutely should come forward to explain all of it, and if there is another side to this story, tell it. If it's wrong, set the record straight. It's a very upsetting story here that at the very least needs to be addressed by Cody publicly.
In less than a week since D'Angelo's upload, the video gained over 2 million views. While Cody did see a drop of 30,000 subscribers when the allegations were first brought to light, D'Angelo's video really sped things up, prompting nearly 300,000 people to unsubscribe from his channel in July. A clear statement that this time, the allegations were being taken much more seriously, with users flooding his subreddit and airing out their grievances over the situation. This ultimately caused the moderation staff to private the subreddit, and it remains private as of the recording of this video. Other creators that Cody directly partnered with.
This is some DJ advice, and I'll go quick. And this was handed down to me. DJ Pauly D himself. He said, all you have to do is, you don't need to play music that other popular DJs are playing or that you and your friends like. That's what most people. So, like, for example, like, I don't remember who introduced me to this guy, but, like, it might be one of you guys, but, like, I checked out his DJing stuff, and I talked to him, and, like, all him and his little friend group just made the same music, and it was like, oh, yeah, we love this shit, turn up. You gotta make a story and a party and a memory for the crowd, and it can't be what's popular while the other DJs are playing, what's in the top 100. You gotta create a story of flow, have aura, have energy. And that's what it's about. It's not about as much like, well, what's the most popular music? What's everyone listening to? Of course, you want to get some popular shit.
With began to cut ties as well. The channel Cut is a YouTube channel well known for their Guess Who, Truth or Drink, and The Bottom series. They found massive success in recent years with a lot of help from Cody's reactions. They even personally co-signed Cody in the comment section of one of his videos, which eventually led to a full-on partnership. Cody featured in a handful of their uploads, such as the time he voiced the button in one of their installments.
Ow, ow.
All right, that was the first actually funny thing I've done.
Ow, in a good way or in a bad way?
I mean, like, I don't know. I guess I have, like, maybe a little bit of an image I keep up on, like, Instagram and, like, TikTok. But, like, for the most part, like, I'm pretty open about how I am on Twitch and Twitter and, like, my Discord. Like, you know, I'm not, like, the most morally righteous, amazing person ever. Like, you know, and I would say with only in the past, you know, couple years have I kind of, like, you know, became... I mean, I'll just be honest, bro. I stopped being a womanizer. I mean, I went through a terrible breakup of 12 years, was 22, and right after that relationship, I got into another one for a year, and I got cheated on, and got out of that relationship. So it was 13 years of relationships just failed. There was like 23 or something, and I remember, like, I just started popping off on TikTok, streaming, and so, like, I was like, fuck it. I was like, I don't ever think I'm gonna fall in love or marry someone again. So, like, I made a lot of bad mistakes, like not being, like, honest and loyal towards the partners I was with at the time. You know, I was never, like, mentally or physically abusive, but, like, you know, I was, like, in the field, you know, texting other girls. Like, I wasn't smashing multiple girls at once. I'll say that. Like, I wasn't double dipping in pussy, but I was definitely, like, not being, like, a good boyfriend, a good partner, and, like, talking to a bunch of girls, blah, blah, blah. I appreciate that, Angelic. Thank you, P Money. And then, like, up until I went to Vegas, like, I was a terrible drug addict. Like, you know, like, sobriety was a fucking mission we went through together. And, like, I remember, like, literally a couple days before I decided to go sober, I was like, I literally remember, it was so crazy. Someone asked me, they're like, do you think you'll ever stop smoking? And I was like, nope, never. Like, I'll smoke when I have kids. I'll smoke to the day I die. Like, marijuana 24/7. Like, that's just me. That's just who I am. Like, I like to to be high. And like I said, so, like, I definitely have my flaws. Like, I would say one I'm struggling with now is probably just, like, I'm probably a little too controlling. definitely. Like, I'm a control freak. Stardust thinks it'll follow. Thank you, Draco. How you grow from real. It's like not about the situation. You can let the situation change you, or you can change the situation. And like I'm a control freak. I'm not gonna lie. Like I like everything to happen the way I want it to, when I want it to. I'm like very stuck to a schedule. I'm very strict to a schedule. Like it's gotta be done like this now. Now this needs to be done. Now this needs to be done. I can get pretty impatient. So you're doing great.
Maybe both. Okay. Despite the success that he had brought them in their frequent collaborations,
I still
Cut
battle
has since
sobriety
quietly removed
every
all of their videos featuring
fucking day. Holy shit, bro. Do you know how many times I've messaged people in this community? I'm sure the people in here don't say who, but I've done to my mods, I've been to my friends, and I've just been like, I feel like the whole world is crushing on me right now. I'm insane. I want to smoke. I just want to say fuck it and go buy some weed. I just want to smoke. I just want to smoke. I want to die. I want, like, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. And I've had people talk me down and be there for me. So I'm really thankful for you guys. Appreciative. Because honestly, I don't think I would have been able to get sober without this community. And I've said that before. Like, I 1,000% owe this community for me being able to sober up. I don't think I would have done it if I never met you guys, if I never got into this community or whatever, this family. You have goals, motivation, proud of you always.
bring him from their channel. On top of that, one of the
Impatient?
podcasts
Yeah, I'm
TMG
pretty
Studios had
impatient.
recently brought into their operation announced they were cutting ties and were going to be independent moving forward. Cody at this point was facing a lot of damning allegations. Claims that he had sex with an individual
Well,
under
for
the
you. Listen, sobriety, this is my biggest thing. So I've been to rehab once, not for marijuana, but I used to be addicted to pills a long time ago. I guess not even really that long. And one thing they tell you about sobriety, if you ever go to rehab, something like that, sobriety is not abstinence. Sobriety doesn't mean you cold turkey quit everything. Sobriety is your journey, journey of recovering and healing from addiction of something. So the addiction is where you abuse a substance or use a substance like that. So like obviously like once you become sober from alcohol, for example, which I've never struggled with alcohol, I hate alcohol. You can, maybe 10 years later, 5 years later, to whatever, depends on who you are, the person, have a drink on a date, drink a glass of wine, or it's someone's bachelor party, so you go turn up with your boys one night. The same thing with marijuana. Like right now, I'm personally just not ready to handle that because I know if I start smoking again, I'll just like get in that cycle. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a cycle. I'm a really bad person of cycles and routines. So once I start something, I'll just keep doing it. And so that's what sobriety is. It's a journey. You're gonna have slips. You're gonna have moments where you indulge. You're gonna have moments where your vices win. But sobriety is not letting the addiction ruin your life, ruin your relationships, ruin everything. P Money, what the fuck, dude? 5,550. Bro, we'll drink to that. Cheers.
age of consent, had a public relationship with a different individual who was under the age of consent, censored criticism and speculation related to these allegations, and openly associated with someone who is more than likely a predator. Of course, with no other option, Cody would be forced to respond.
I can't wait
Just
to
kidding.
meet you in
Rather than
January.
clear the air in regards to these severe claims, Cody
Yeah, bro, and then he went on to DJ.
felt it was more important to drop some sick beats at a DJing gig in Las Vegas. That's right, rather than responding in any form, Cody quietly went to Vegas to perform.
Bro goes, spin that track. 2016 Justin Bieber. Spin it, guys. Fuck him, bro. He's the worst DJ ever. DJ pedophile on the beat. God, nah, I'll never forget. You guys are amazing, chat. Like, here's the crazy thing. Like, yeah, I've like, conquered battles, struggles, but like, one thing that like I have that like a lot of people don't have, like just the love and commitment and support of one really good friend in your life. Like, imagine how much that encourages you to be better. What up, Ari? Encourages you to change, encourages you to grow and heal, and you don't want to let them down, and you want them to see you do good. When you're hurt, they hurt, so you don't want to see that. When you just have one of those people, like, it helps you out so much in life if you guys have ever struggled with anything. And I'm so blessed to have such, like, before my community had some snakes in it, but like I'm honestly so blessed to have like so many amazing people. Like this community may not be the biggest, but it has the best quality. Like the quality of just humans in here is insane. Like just the love, the acceptance. There's not a judgmental motherfucker in here. Maybe a little like normal judgmental, but like for things people can help. The generosity, the patience, the dedication, the loyalty, the laughs. Like when you have that in your life, like how I do, like I couldn't help but like slowly get better. Like literally when I started online, like on Twitch, on TikTok, everything, my username was really sad today, and I was addicted to like 5 or 6 drugs. I was depressed. I was it was bad. It was bad, and literally just over the years of just meeting more people and like growing and getting like more people like getting close to me, I was really able to like grow and change who I am. Like if you saw me when I first started streaming, and especially like when I was in Texas, which is about 2 years ago now, versus now, it's like I can like tell I'm like a whole different person. What up, Poffins? And like obviously everyone changes, but still.
Perform as a
I'm
DJ,
happy
where the
you're
crowd
here.
gleefully cheered his name. And they were seemingly unaware of anything happening online. People were obviously not happy with this. In the face of career-ending allegations, Cody was choosing silence, censorship, and dropping the bass for
You
white
guys are
girls in Las
incredible.
Vegas. However, TMG Studios did eventually publish a statement. Hi everyone, we want to start by thanking you all for your patience while we were working to figure out the best path forward for the studio. As we enter into this next phase of the studio, we wanted to let you know that Cody will not be involved in the day-to-day operations at TMG. What has transpired over the past few weeks is a
Anyway,
personal
sorry
issue
for
for
getting
him,
so
and Cody
distracted.
wants to remove
And
any
big
effects
shout
this
to
is
P
having
Money.
on your professional and personal lives, and the work you and our other hosts have done to make TMG Studios so successful. Noel will continue to lead the
Streaming
team.
for
His top
about
priority remains the life and
25,
growth of the
23
studio
more
and his
minutes.
talent. Our audience sees your hard work every week, and we want
have
that to
family,
continue.
Morgie.
They deserve it, and so do you. We've built something truly special, and he's committed to keeping that alive and well. Sincerely, Cody and Noel. Many fans of the podcast were disappointed with this statement for a number of reasons. For starters, the response was hidden behind a
are
paywall rather
watching
than
a
being
movie.
publicly posted for anyone to freely
Dude.
read. The statement also makes it clear that while Cody is stepping back in a public sense, he's still an active member of the company and will continue to work on it behind the scenes. TMG Studios took a brief hiatus to readjust before returning in August. In the first episode since Cody's departure, Noel makes a brief yet very vague statement on the situation.
I'm not in a position to speak about the situation. And at this point, really, the thing I have to focus on is how to move forward.
Despite not directly clarifying or denouncing what Cody was accused of, many fans of the show expressed sympathy for Noel, as he definitely experienced a lot of repercussions for the situation. The last notable event came in late August. In a moment of
Love you,
brief
Sammy.
comedic
I'm so
relief,
proud
someone
of you.
managed to gain access to Cody's Spotify artist profile and uploaded an AI-generated song titled I Did It All.
Don't forget it. Playing the DJ set in Nevada. I could care less about the drama. I feel like, wait, no. I got a lot in common with Drake.
What's even more
What the
bizarre is that
fuck?
an individual named Turkey Thomas is
Noel.
credited as the source for this song. As funny as it would be to to hack this guy, I promise I have nothing to do with this, okay? I'll put my
No
right hand
way.
on a box of Mr. Beast skibbity slicers and testify in court. This is slander, and I won't stand for it. Regardless, in the months since this whole ordeal, Cody has stayed radio silent, aside from the occasional DJ set announcement or a post made to his fitness account. Cody's ultimately refused to speak out, and it's unclear if he ever will. While his silence has mostly blown up in his face, some of his most dedicated supporters still stand by him, eagerly waiting for his return. It's not often that you see the best of the best fall. Typically, when large and revered content creators have their momentary slip-ups, they're able to bounce back with no real issue. But the downfall of Cody Ko was no minor slip-up. Rather, it was a deep, dark secret that was destined to come to light one day. It draws into question what kind of skeletons hide in the closet of your favorite unproblematic creator. The downfall of Cody Ko is a cautionary tale that some of the most trustworthy individuals may also have the most to hide. I've been Turkey Tom. Thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
Real. Burn, ner, ner, ner. Burn. About Noel, though. So from what I saw, Noel doesn't involved, but it's just unfortunately he's up in it. Yanar? Boom, boom, boom. This is the rhythm of the night. Yeah, yeah. All night. You guys want to see how a real fucking DJ turns up, chat? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.